This is the powerful thing about perspective, and the dangerous thing about perspective is that it's your reality. So just imagine someone wearing a pair of blue tinted glasses. That you can argue until you're blue in the face. There is no way you're going to be able to convince them that the world is not blue. No way, because they're wearing a pair of blue tinted glasses. So whatever they see is tinted blue. And so to them, it's their reality. Don't tell me the world is not blue. Of course it's blue. I can see it's blue because they're wearing a pair of blue tinted glasses. So what you want to do is you want to take those glasses off. Stop arguing with them. You want to help them take those glasses off. If you really want to help people, that's what we want to do, because your perspective is your reality. So if our perspective is our reality, how important is it then that we have the right perspective on things? Absolutely crucial. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Future Fit. Hope you're excited about today's show. I certainly am. I have a really, really wonderful guest that I'm going to be introducing to us in a minute. Really, just really has an inspiring story, not a fairy tale, his life story that he's going to be sharing with us. You see, wherever you may be in life right now, I want you to know that you are powerfully positioned to do an amazing thing, to create that future that you want for yourself. I think sometimes because of our past experiences where we've been, we tend to limit ourselves, and we look at where we are, look at where we've been, and we limit ourselves. We think my future is limited to what I've done in the past, or where I've been in the past, or where I am right now. But really, my whole desire with Future Fit is to help you really understand that your future is so much more. It's so much more than you have experienced to date. Your future is bright. None of us can go to the past and change what's happened in our past, but we all can, from today, where we are right now, we can create the future that we really want. So that's what Future Fit is about. If there's any aspect of your life that you're not maybe entirely happy with right now, and you're thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice if, or if only I could change this or change that, or improve this or improve that, I want you to know that you really do have the power to make those changes. You do. And that is what Future Fit is about. It's about equipping you for your empowered future. And so, as usual, I have my Future Fit thoughts that I'm going to be sharing with you, but we bring guests on the show as well to inspire us all, to just help us, ordinary people doing extraordinary things, to just help us understand that wherever we may be in life, we too can do something extraordinary with our lives. You can do something extraordinary in your life. Do you have a dream? If you have a dream, that dream can absolutely become reality. It might not be a high, lofty dream. It might not be a dream to change the world. It might just be a dream about your family, your business. Maybe you want to start a business. Whatever it is, I want you to know that that dream can become reality. And that is why we bring guests on the show, to show you that they're imperfect people, ordinary people, stepping out, wanting to live the lives that they want to live, and hopefully to inspire you to do the same. But today I have some Future Fit thoughts that I want to share with you. But like I say, as you join, do say hello. I like to know that we are connecting. And if I say anything that resonates with you, please just put in the comment box so I know that I'm actually connecting with you. Now, today I want to talk about something that is really, really, really important, really, really powerful. Let me start with these two quotes, okay? So the first one, they both say more or less the same thing. The first one is by Albert Einstein, and he says, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." The second quote is by Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, and he says, "Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit." I want you to just pay attention to every single word in that phrase. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. That is a very audacious statement. That is a very powerful statement, but it is true. You and I know it is true. Because when we look at history has shown us time and time again that out of adversity, out of recession, out of problems, those times actually produce the greatest results for some people. Some people come out of recession millionaires, billionaires. So in the midst of adversity, in the midst of problems, when everybody is thinking, wow, this is the end, people are coming out of those difficult situations with great benefit. So that tells us that this statement is actually true. But the question is it true for everybody? And more importantly, is it true for you? Is it true for you? Just cast your mind back to your own life. Is it true that every problem you've ever experienced, every adversity you've ever faced, every heartache you've ever felt, every failure you've ever experienced, has it resulted in greater benefit for you? That is the question. Has it resulted in greater benefit for me? Because if that statement is true, and history has shown us that it is true, it means for every single one of us, we should be experiencing greater benefit from those problems, those adversities, because every one of us have gone through adversity. Every one of us have experienced failure in our lives. Every one of us have had obstacles to overcome. And if it is true that every one of those obstacles and failures and heartache come with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit, then that should be true in our lives. But you and I know that's not true. Because the key word, especially in the phrase by Napoleon Hill, the key word is seed. It carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Now, whether that seed bears fruit in our lives is up to us. And that is where I want to go today. Whether that seed is going to actually bear fruit in our lives. Because you see, same adversity, same problem, but two different approaches, two different people coming out of the same problem with different results. One comes out a victor, the other comes out a victim. Because we will always have trouble. You know, it's not something any of us can ever get away from. We will always have trouble, but trouble comes to define us. Do you know that it's in adversity that we actually get defined? It's in adversity that our character actually gets shaped. When we're experiencing success and we're just, flying through and everything is fine, we don't really think much about what we're doing. We just kind of coast. But when adversity comes, when obstacles come, when problems arise, that's where we have to just stop and say, okay, what's going on here? We know we put our thinking hats on and we have to consciously make decisions to navigate our way out of those problems. So it's in those tough times that we're actually defined, that our lives are actually defined. And you and I know that globally, we have been going through and are still going through tough times. But how you come out of these tough times is entirely up to you. You might say, no, that's not fair. That's an unfair statement. How can you say it's up to me? It really is up to you. I know that we all are facing the same problems, but how you come out of it is entirely up to you. That is empowering. The power does not lie in the system. The power does not lie with COVID-19. The power does not lie with the government. The power does not lie with the health system. The power lies in your hand and in my hand. And I want to talk to us today about that very powerful word, perspective. Because that is what makes all the difference. Perspective. What is perspective? Perspective basically is how you see things, your viewpoint in life. Hey, John. Hey, good to have you join us. Welcome. Your perspective is how you see things. And that is what really makes the difference. How you see things, your own point of view, your attitude to life. You see, one person's perspective might be there's always an answer. There's always a way. Another person's perspective will be it's my lot in life, or que sera, what will be, or it wasn't meant to be. You see, for those two people, their approach to life is going to be completely different. While one person who thinks there's always an answer will press through and keep going until they find that answer, the person whose perspective on life is, well, it wasn't meant to be. When they come against an obstacle, guess what? They're going to say, well, it was my fate. It wasn't meant to be. So perspective is so powerful. It's so powerful. Already in this season we're in, difficult as it is, there are people who have already identified opportunities and are taking those opportunities and making something great of them. While some people just want to dwell on the problem. Have you met people like that? Maybe you're trying to get them to see things from a different perspective and you're trying to say to them, yeah, how about this? How about that? And they say to you, yeah, but. They say, I hear what you're saying, but, and that word but always takes them back to their perspective on life. They say, I hear what you're saying. It even makes sense, but this is where I am, and here I'm going to dwell. I'm not moving from this place. That's what that word but really represents. They say, I hear what you're saying, but this is my perspective. They always default back to that place. And as a result, they never see what you're trying to get them to see. And this is the powerful thing about perspective, and the dangerous thing about perspective is that it's your reality. It's your reality. You say, just imagine someone wearing a pair of blue tinted glasses. That you can argue until you're blue in the face. There is no way you're going to be able to convince them that the world is not blue. No way, because they're wearing a pair of blue tinted glasses. So whatever they see is tinted blue. And so to them, it's their reality. Don't tell me the world is not blue. Of course it's blue. I can see it's blue because they're wearing a pair of blue tinted glasses. So what you want to do is you want to take those glasses off. Stop arguing with them. You want to help them take those glasses off. If you really want to help people, that's what we want to do, because your perspective is your reality. So if our perspective is our reality, how important is it then that we have the right perspective on things? Absolutely crucial. Let me just read this little statement I wrote. Your perspective shapes your attitude. It influences your approach to life, which controls the choices and the decisions you make, which ultimately determines the results you get. So do you see how it flows? Your perspective shapes your attitude. If your view on life is, like I said before, what will be, or if your perspective on things is, if it's mine, then I'll have it. There's some people who have that perspective. If it was meant to be, then I'll have it. Your approach is going to be, I'll do my best. Yeah, that's going to be your approach. I'll do my best, and then you hope that your best is good enough. And so when you've done your best, and you've tried, remember last week or the week before I was talking about the word try, that word try is a cop-out, because you leave the back door open and you say, once I've tried, then that's it. So I'll give it my best. If it works out, fine. If it doesn't work out, fine. Okay, so that determines the approach. The approach is, I'll give it my best. And that influences the choices you make. When you've given it your best and you're still hitting a brick wall, you're going to back off and say, well, I've done my best. It means it wasn't meant to be. As opposed to the person whose perspective on life is, there is always an answer. They're going to approach it with that view of, I'm not just going to give it my best. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. So already their approach is different. So when they come against that brick wall, they're going to go over it, through it, under it, around it. They're going to get over it somehow, because their approach is different. And guess what? The results they're going to get in life is going to be different as well. Do you see how powerful perspective is? So it's really, really powerful. Let me read this letter to you. It's a very funny letter. It's a letter written by a college student to the mom. And she says, "Dear Mom, since I've been away at college one full semester, I think it's time to bring you up to date to what's been going on in my life. Shortly after arriving in college, I got bored with dormitory life and stole £10 out of my roommate's purse. With the money, I rented a Honda bike and crashed into a telephone pole a few blocks from college, broke my legs, and was rescued by a young doctor who lives upstairs in the apartment round the corner. He took me in and nursed me back to good health. And thanks to him, I'm up and about again. I wanted to let you know that we're going to be married as soon as possible, since we're having some trouble with a blood test because there's a disease that keeps showing up. We do hope, however, that we'll be married before the baby arrives. We'll be home shortly thereafter to live with you and Dad. I know you will love the baby as much as you love me, though he will be of a different religion. But please try to understand. The reason we're having to come home to stay is because my doctor friend dropped out of medical school because of all the attention he's had to give me and my health." Really, Mom? I did not steal £10 from my roommate's purse, or rent a Honda bike, or hit a telephone pole, or break my leg. I did not meet a young doctor of a different religion, nor are we getting married. There's no disease, no tests, or baby to worry about. And I won't be home to live with you or Dad, and he won't either. But Mom, I'm getting a D in geology, and I'm getting an F in geometry. However, I wanted you to accept these grades in the right perspective. Isn't that just a great story? Basically, the lady is saying, listen, mom, it could be a lot worse. Okay. I could be living with a doctor that has no future because he's dropped out of college and all the rest of it. So accept my D and my F in the right perspective. That is the power of perspective. But that was just a little side. But how do we get perspective? We get our perspective through our life's experiences, other people's life's experiences, our values, our beliefs, our assumptions. All these things shape our perspective on life. But what you want to ask yourself is, your life experiences, or your friends' life experiences, or your parents' life experiences, or your boss's life experiences, any life experiences that you've allowed to shape your perspective, are those life experiences actually the ideal? Is that actually the ideal? Is that what you should be basing your whole approach on life on? Even your beliefs, your values. Think about them. Have you ever challenged them? Because all these things are formed through the environment we grew up in. Now, if you're lucky to have been brought up in a very positive environment, by parents who really had the right values, etc., then you have a great head start. But just think about it. What if you didn't? What if you grew up in a really negative environment with parents whose values are just warped? And the experiences you have in life are just terrible experiences. And then you allow those to shape your perspective. How is that going to affect your attitude and your approach to life and the results you get? But that is what is happening with a lot of people. So when I say to you, don't allow your past successes or failures or whatever it is you've achieved or not achieved to date to determine what you can achieve in future. That's what I'm talking about. Don't allow your reasoning, because sometimes we reason ourselves out of a breakthrough. Why? Because our reason is based on logic. And our logic could be flawed. It could be flawed because our logic is based on experiences as well. So do you see what I mean? So it's so important that we take the time, and I'm going to go back to intentionality. Last week, I was talking about the need to be intentional. And if there are two or three areas I'm going to share with us over the course of the next few weeks, 3 areas that we really need to be intentional in, and this is one of them. You have to be intentional in your own personal growth and your own personal development. You see, because how do you even come to that place where you even recognize, first of all, that the way you're thinking is not right, that your perspective on things is not right? You're not going to know. There are people who will argue, and I'm sure you've met people like that. You just think, my goodness, you're in a different world. It's not their fault. That is just the world they're in. But how do you come out of that place? You have to invest in yourself. You have to connect with people who maybe are operating on a higher level of awareness than you are. It doesn't mean they're better than you. It just means they're operating at a higher level of awareness. You may need to get a mentor. You may need to get a coach. You need to read books. You just need to invest in developing yourself. And again, I'm not talking about developing your skills to enable you be effective or efficient at your job. I'm talking about you as a person. I'm talking about building your character, building your inner strength, shifting your mental attitudes, the way you think. That's what I'm talking about. Because like I said before, when we're in formal education, there's a curriculum. There are certain things you have to have learned when you're in kindergarten. There's certain things you should have known by the time you leave primary school. There's a curriculum. But guess what? When we all leave university with a degree, which is just a degree, a little bit of what is available to us to learn, we stop formal learning. We stop being intentional in our growth. And that is what I want to challenge you to start to do, to be intentional in your growth, in your development of yourself, because that is what is going to raise your awareness so that you begin to catch yourself when you begin to have a negative attitude or a negative approach, or where your perspective is wrong. That's the only way you're going to be able to catch yourself. But also the other thing you need to do is to make yourself, position yourself as a lifelong learner. Lifelong learner. Always be open. Don't think you know it all, because somebody else might bring a different perspective on things that you never thought about before. You never saw it that way. And by keeping yourself open, right, you allow more possibilities. So I hope that's helped you. Perspective is so powerful. It's something that we should not ignore. It's something that absolutely rules our lives, maybe on a sublime, subconscious level, but it absolutely rules our lives.